Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where each week my players accuse me of trying to kill them, and I have to remind them that they're already dead.
Yay, death.
So, this week we have our wonderful Wea back with us.
Yay.
I'm back.
Apparently, it was a
Finally.
harrowing experience, given that he's gone gray in a week. But now, Chad, did you get to watch our episode so you're familiar with what happened?
I didn't. I got like 3/4 of the way through. But
As you can see, everybody, we have a riveting show. Okay, so I will give you all a recap.
I got to the point where, I got about 3/4 through.
So, last episode, after a rather harrowing battle with this group of cavalry members and fighting the quite literal and figurative demons within your friend Henry, the rest of you took most of a few nights to rest, heal up, focus on healing the aggravated damage, discovering a storage unit within the base that had tools for repairing wagons, dried fruits, ammunition, a field cannon, bunch of interesting stuff there. A group of you then also made your way into the captain's quarters where Bartleby has Franklin set up until you decide what you're doing with him.
That poor child.
After some pretty good investigative rolls, you discovered that the captain seems to be getting some intel on the comings and goings of other cavalry units, of helping to move supplies from one area to the rest, which all seems to be above board and keeping track of knowing that there is a tribe of Native Americans somewhere nearby, keeping track on them, being willing to fight them when need be. But hidden in a secret compartment within his desk, you were able to pick the lock and discover that there was a pistol inside that had silver bullets and a note saying, "You'll know when to use this, whether you believe me or not," as well as a small leather-bound journal that seemed to be shorthand for the movement of money, maybe that was beneath the table, no pun intended, from where you found that. You guys then also spoke with PETA, who basically warned you that he's still willing to be partners in all this. However, basically the same advice that his father gave, which was, if you can't keep Henry in check, he will, if he feels that Henry is at any time a danger to the success of the mission. But that Wea can calm down and that he's not going to try and like stab Henry in the back or anything like that unless given a reason to. You decided to feast upon some of the imprisoned soldiers that were still alive. You then decided to question the captain, and through a couple of very successful intimidation checks, seems that he's admitting that there's more that he knows, and he then saw the visage of Walter, but currently thinking that it's some kind of trick, as your lot has already shown a ability to change your appearance. Still isn't maybe 100% sold that this is the Walter he knew and fought with from 30 years ago. But you were leading him away to have a private interrogation, as the captain, still in the face of these devils and demons, still wanted to make sure that nothing he said was going to be overheard by his troop and thus damn them by association. And then Cat happened. So anyway, that is where we left off, and that's where we're going to jump into tonight's episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones. So remind me who all is with the interrogation party right now. Wea, I think I left you where you were still in the barracks, keeping a watch over Henry.
Yeah, and I had spoken to Asmodeus, and he was going to work with Wea to see if they could make the daggers.
That's right. You had given him the talons that you had pilfered from the grave, and you were going to see if they could make something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was everyone else with the interrogation party?
I know for certain myself, Noah, and Walter. I don't remember if Atris was in there or not.
I think at this time, Atris was working on her sword. No pun intended. She was still working on her whetstone on the sword right now. So I don't think she was a part of it at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think you said that you would. Now that you mentioned that, I remember you had said that you had gone up one of the towers, was kind of keeping lookout while working on the sword.
Mm.
Okay. So, in that case, Noah, Liam, and Walter, you're leading this captain over. Arms still bound behind him, but you cut him free from the others. The arms are, the ankles are still tied together enough where he can take small steps, but you cut him so that way he's not attached to his other men. Where are you leading him to?
So I think we were interrogating him in the barracks with the other men, and then we took him to his quarters, right?
Well, it was mid-process. You had got him up from, not in the barracks, but in the stables where the men are being kept.
I mean, the first floor of his area is fine because Franklin's upstairs. So
it should also note, I forgot this in the recap. There was also the connection you made with the group of crows, some of which obviously belonging to the Undertaker, who you had run into in the past. And Noah had a moment of whole envy where it looks like the Undertaker, while you guys had slept, had buried some of your already expired victims, and Noah was a little upset that someone else had beat him to the job. So are you guys then marching him to the captain's quarters? Okay. No problem. You get him there. You see Bartleby asleep on the couch, passed out next to a almost already finished jug of a cask of whiskey that he's been working on very heavily over the last couple of days, of knowing to enjoy the simple pleasures when he can get them before something else goes wrong. And Franklin seems to be still bound and asleep and blindfolded on the bed. And just as a reminder of you guys, as you take the stairs up into, there's like 3 steps that lead into the captain's quarters. There is the front area that seems more of like an office, where you have the ornate desk, the filing cabinets against the wall, a couple of chairs set up. Then to the right of that, there is the fireplace, currently with low embers, not enough to trigger any fear checks, but low embers still burning in there that you assume that Bartleby had lit to keep the place comfortable during the winter. A couch and armchair, and then further back from that in the far right corner is the bedroom area, where there's the bed and the side table, that kind of stuff.
His office area should be fine.
Okay.
Noah, why don't you do this gentleman a courtesy and at least seat him at his normal station? I would hate for this to be an unpleasant experience.
Surely. I'll drag him over there and push him into his chair.
Okay.
I'll just sit at the other end of the desk in one of the guest chairs.
Okay. There's about 2 guest chairs, so there's 1 available chair still left.
I'm gonna walk over to the other chair and rub my hand across the desk as I walk past it and go, should have broke it when I had the chance.
Well,
and I'll take the other chair.
All right, so that leaves Walter. Where are you in all this?
I've been following behind, and I'm just like, yeah, I better go. And and I'll say that out loud as we were walking while we were still outside. But I'm walking in the room. I'll just hold up the door.
Okay. So you're just kind of posted up in the door frame, sitting there looking in behind where Liam and Noah are sitting. And he's sitting there, he's bound, and he's just, you can see that he's trying to figure things out, and he is purposefully avoiding eye contact with Walter.
Oh, is he even facing my direction at all?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the way it works out is door, chairs, desk, him facing. You get the idea that it's purposely set up so that way when someone comes in the room, if he was at his desk, he could see them when they come in.
I'm cutting a cool silhouette with my hat, my cowboy hat still on, and like head not bowed, but like little, a little obstructed. I'm just
You're basically those
hanging
cutouts
out.
that they have of cowboys, and that are the silhouette of them resting one leg up, one leg down, kind of just resting against the door frame.
The only thing that's missing is a hayseed in my mouth.
There you go.
Like, I'm sure we could find one around here somewhere. Oh, now I hate to inform you, but this here ledger is really why one such as myself makes their way out to places like this. It's usually a bit more of unscrupulous acts that catch my attention.
So you came here because of this?
No, that no. The things that you are stating you may not fully believe in the area are, well, far more than you might anticipate.
Hard to deny what's right in front of your face.
This here is just really more of a bonus that I would like to collect. But why did they station y'all way out here? I know my business with the locals, but what do you have going on?
Let's see. You broke in here, killed about half my men. Best as I can figure, you're eating the rest of them. What benefit is there in me telling you anything? What assurances do I have that any of my men will walk free from this?
Well, that's absolutely none, I can assure you, actually. Well, one at least for certain, and unfortunately, I have been, well, my chain has been tugged a bit by the gentleman in the corner back there, and as far as your safety is concerned.
I'd gladly trade mine for all of theirs.
Well, wouldn't we? Well, no, we wouldn't all. I don't know why I even try to say that. Oh, but we are here. We are in this position. And I have a problem with, well, the things around the area that I'm looking to solve. I'm wondering if what's in here might assist me in that venture as well. Quite a bit of supplies can be purchased with under the table funds. Now, I do like to ask nicely, but that doesn't mean it will always be my way.
Son, I don't know how old you are, but I've been around the horn a few times, and I'm no stranger to advanced interrogation methods. So if you're just telling me that you're going to do what I think you're going to do anyway, that's not much incentive for me to give you anything else or make your job any easier. Now, if you can give me something, promise me something from my men, then maybe, mind you. I'd be willing to tell you everything you need to know about that little book there. Because at this point, I figure my life is over one way or the other, so it doesn't do me one heck of good anyway or the other. If you're not going to give me any kind of assurances and proof, well then, I'm resigned to meet my maker like anyone else.
Now, my friend in the doorway here, I just want to know something. You could say yes, no, yep, maybe, don't care. But, and I'm talking to Walter. Have your needs been met?
My needs?
Whoa now, Josephine's a long ways off.
What do they call it? These new fangled children, your dietary restriction needs, have those been met?
Look, I got what I need, but what fucking cost, man?
Well,
I spit imaginarily. It's a blank.
well, then that appears, so sorry, I have not asked your name this entire time.
Oh, I think I gave it last time. Shit, I need to check my notes.
If you did, that means I have it. It's John Wells.
What was that?
It's John Wells.
No.
I was gonna need one Mortimer.
My name is Jonathan Wells. Captain Jonathan Wells.
Well, Captain, based on the information I just received, it would appear that we have no need to be killing anyone at this point from here on out, it seems. So, as much as you would think that we might be cruel creatures, simply for sport is not really my way, nor is it really my companions. So, do you have a way to leave this place unscathed?
If you haven't eaten the horses too.
I can assure you I have not. In fact, the last couple of days, those things have been taken care of rather nicely alongside of our own.
Now, Liam, do you have any plans of letting the rest of the men go? Honestly, just...
I find no reason to kill them needlessly.
What I'm basically asking is this a charisma roll, or is this a basically, is this an expression roll, or is this a subterfuge roll? If it's expression of you're honestly going to try and convince the rest of the group to let these guys go who have seen what they've seen, then that would be charisma plus expression. If you're lying through your teeth and basically still planning to murder the fuck out of most of them, then that would be a charisma plus.
So not that one. So I'm not lying.
Okay. Okay, so then go ahead and make a charisma plus expression roll. Difficulty is 8 because he does not trust you at all.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, right.
Well, that was one success.
He looks at his eyes go from Liam to Noah and off in the direction of Walter, but again without making eye contact, goes, shoot, look, you promised that some of my men can get home to their families, and you stop that. And he just gestures at Walter. Of all the things you, I don't even know what you are, have done, That's the cruelest one.
You don't know the half of it, man. Walter's gonna walk straight up to the desk. Is there a chair anywhere?
Not currently taken.
Yeah, that's cool.
Noah took the other chair.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna walk straight up to the desk and kind of like put both hands on it for a sec and like not slam it, but kind of thud hard and like I didn't make this fucking choice myself, man. I've been trapped in something of a just constant frozen age, just like whenever we last saw each other. And life's a weird fucking thing, man. I can't change the face. Only things that I've tried to are my enemies. So you get what you get. John.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus expression difficulty 5.
Ooh, this is actually kind of a good roll. Okay. Or a good
I would hope so.
number of dice. The roll is 3 successes.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a solid roll. For the first time, very slowly, his eyes move up and meet yours. And though he is now an older man, the eyes are still very piercing blue eyes that are looking back at you with a lot of fire and brimstone behind them. And for a moment, Walter, it kind of gives you that moment of wondering like what you would look like if time had taken its natural toll. And this man that used to be younger than you when you first met him looks to you and goes, "You saved me that day. And now you're... Was it worth your soul?"
Can't say as I'm fit to answer that question anymore. Can't say it is, can't say it ain't. I've done some good. Thought I did a lot of good back at the time.
You
Got
did.
some stories for you if only we could sit and chat, but this is not the side I thought I'd end up seeing you on again. Or at all. If you
He
can
thinks
believe
for a
it.
minute and looks at you and goes, "If there's anything left still in you from the man I knew, you promise me that some of these men can go home. Any of them. Versus them all just meeting their maker or whatever the fuck you need them for. I'll tell you what you need to know."
Done. I look straight at Liam and say done. And like narrow my eyes at Liam and then Noah.
Oh, I fully agree that you are in charge here, sir. Do not get it twisted. I'm just more of a mouthpiece at the moment.
I wouldn't
nods.
harm a single one of them.
Don't let them travel in pairs.
He nods. What do you want to know?
Well, for starters, what kind of valuables is this going to be leading to that's around here? And secondly, do you have any information on the locals?
Only paths they seem to go, hunting parties, things like that. Our job was to, anytime it wouldn't put the base in jeopardy, our job was to eliminate the threat before it became a threat, if you catch my meaning. We were to thin the herd as much as we could.
Even still,
This
you seem
man
to
said
have.
he kills women and children.
Not many of them on a hunting party.
But even still, you all seem to have managed to get around them quite a bit. I would definitely like to take a look at those routes.
He motions to, he again, still kind of bound. He gestures to one of the filing cabinets and he goes, "There's a map in there."
Much obliged.
Sent scouts and plotted the course as best we could, but mostly we were told to hold and wait for orders in case there was need. This was supposed to be a place of strength that a greater force could move out from, and we were to take care of any injured and help with supplies for anyone that was with the military and moving through, helping with the army. We were a way station, as it were, in otherwise unfriendly territory.
You want to hear the fucked up part? I'm not looming anymore. I'm standing up straight.
Mm-hmm.
Walter just kind of says that. You just met your goal. Greater force came. We're heading to them, and this is the fucked up way it unfolded.
Well, fuck me. Right hand of the devil, right?
What is that old proverb I love? Sometimes it is better to be at the right hand of the devil than in his path.
That was literally the one I was quoting, son.
Every time you call me son, it is quite a riot.
As far as
may
your
have
other
known
question,
I believe
was
I
that?
may have known your forefathers at some point.
Only had the one. Again, comments like that, you guys see why he and Walter got along during the day. As for your other question, we were here about a year, and 3 people rode up, not with the military. Not many other folks around these parts. A couple of camping settlements here and there, people trying to make a living, but this is dangerous territory out here. This is Indian territory. So not a whole lot of folks come out this way, but you sometimes get the occasional hunter or wayward stagecoach that's just trying to find a piece of land that has already been claimed. We let them know that this is a military occupation. They usually move along, but when those 3 came, they seemed to know exactly who we were and what we were here for. At first I was reckoning to go ahead and arrest them, seeing if they were spies or some other kind of thing. But sure enough, they assured me that their intentions were purely on a business standpoint, and if I was willing to help move certain messages or the occasional box of goods along without it being disrupted or opened, there would be a stipend paid, and I could use that money to help line the pockets of my men who, on strictly speaking, just a government salary isn't always as much as it could be.
You bullshitting? You actually pay some of that to your men?
Go ahead and roll a perception plus subterfuge roll.
Let's see.
VTM insight check.
I guess so, yeah.
Fine to me.
Hey, 3.
He seems to be honest enough. He definitely
I
seems
said this out loud to him also.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. I remember what it was like being a grunt back in the day, trying to start a family. I understand what it's like when you don't have a lot to go off of and you're living day by day. I made sure that made it to my men. And if there wasn't enough to go around, I made sure it made it to them before it made it to me.
I'll be damned. I think you're telling the truth.
Walter, I'm many things. I might lie about fishing and hunting stories, but when it comes to my men, I'm an honest son of a gun.
So, oh, I just, I have to admit, I just assume everyone's a lying bastard like I am. I just assume Walter was a fake name you made up all these years ago.
God.
That shit's real.
You think I'm that creative?
What the fuck
You're
else would
right.
his name be?
You know, you
Wait,
are
we're
right. I should
using
not give you
real
that much
names
credit.
around here?
Listen. This one, and he kind of gestures to Walter with his head. I should have died that day. Whatever he is now, back then, he was a good man and he prevented that from happening. Whatever, oh, fuck, I don't claim to be a righteous man or holy man by any means. I have my sins and I have my vices. But these men trust me with their lives, and I've seen good men die with bastards leading them. I'll be damned if I was going to be one of them. That's why when these three came up telling me hokum and ghost stories about beasts out in the woods and in the mountains and using silver bullets against them, I thought it was a load of piss, to tell you the truth. But the money was good and the money was true, and they were good to their word about what we would get. So I looked the other way when letters needed to be passed around or boxes needed to be moved forward.
Now, did they give you any indication of who they might be? Any insignias, any wax stamps that I might be able to take a look at?
Well, how well have you searched this room?
Oh, just briefly in the ones. We gotta admit, got rather excited when we found the hidden compartment in the desk. Thank you, Noah, by the way.
After hearing him ask that, my eyes start darting around the room.
Move the couch.
Oh, I get right to it. I just punch it.
So like Street Fighter beating up the car is just,
You attack the sitting furniture?
Can it dodge?
Bartleby, who is sleeping on the couch, by the way, suddenly jumps. What the fuck? God damn it, you son of a bitch! As he falls off the couch.
Oh, poor Bartleby.
Ruby said, son of a bitch, god damn it. Looks at the rest of you and he's like, of fucking course. Doesn't even ask.
Noah.
Just grabs what's left of the small barrel of whiskey, grabs his glass and just goes, do I need to move the kid or what?
Noah, don't punch the bed.
By the way, at this point, with all the talking and noise and everything else, Franklin has woken up and you see him kind of struggling against the restraints and everything else. He's like, great, now I have that to deal with. Thanks. And then he looks at Liam, master, and keeps walking. That little bit of respect that he has to give, kind of thing, that little modicum of, I guess you technically own me. Walks off and he starts trying to calm Franklin down.
Liam just thinks to himself, I am so summoning him when he is in the outhouse.
You fucking
Wow.
monster.
Right?
You've gone drunk with power.
So Noah, as you punch the couch, you look and there, sure enough, perfectly hidden underneath it, like you wouldn't notice it unless you knew to move the couch. There is a little pull-up latch that is there. you pull it up, and there are what looks like a couple of enough where someone can actually, there's a small little ladder that goes down, I would say about 3 feet underneath where you have to kind of crouch down. It's not like a full standing thing, but you go down there, there's a small little carved out area in the earth and everything else that they put up some wood just to keep like the moisture and stuff from soaking back in. There's about 3 bundles of just looks like bank bundles of money. There are a small pile of tied together letters that seem like they've made like a kind of makeshift cubby space that they've kind of been stored in there, that they're probably there to be delivered onward. And 1 crate in there that's about yay big, nothing huge, but a small crate. And go ahead, and that's what you see just looking at a glance and with what light you have down here. Go ahead and give me a perception plus investigation roll. Standard diff. And then I will ask to help with this investigation roll before you make the official roll, are you planning on opening anything, or are you just looking through what's there at a cursory glance? And you are muted, just so you know.
I rolled a 4 and I am just looking. I wouldn't be taking without the whole crew there.
So as someone who almost has like a clan trait, Nos are really good at sniffing out secrets and everything else. Like it's almost like an innate ability with them. And sometimes what you don't find is almost as telling as what you do. There are no insignias or anything. Usually, like when you guys found the ammunition and stuff in the main storage room, it was obviously branded by either the US military or the Mexican military insignias and stuff on there. It was obviously to show whose property it belongs to. This is all extremely blank. All the letters do not have any kind of like return to sender or anything else. And as a matter of fact, if the envelopes themselves are not completely blank, it is initials only. And then maybe a town, like very much where this could be anybody's letter kind of thing. Like who's WC? Who knows? Like there's
Walter Cronkite.
Yes. It's one of those things of this seems intentionally non-specific, where it's one of those things of those who need to know where these things go or where they're from would know. Anyone who doesn't shouldn't.
And won't.
Okay. After seeing the intentionally blank letters, what I'm wondering is what is worth this much money? And I'm looking around the room for anything else that might be another hidden hatch.
Okay. I'll say keep that same roll. It's the perception plus investigation. You're fairly confident that there's no other hidden latch. This was the last bit of hidden anything else. This is what you have to look at. Mm-hmm. But again, you don't know what's in the crate. You don't know what's in the envelope. Some of them are regular letter sized. Some of them are what looks like the kind of there's 1 or 2 that looks like the kind of leather tube that like a map or a larger document is kept in. And then others look like packages, like parcels and stuff like that.
So, obviously, you're more than willing to cooperate. I thank you kindly for it. As discussed, we have no intention of further harming you or your men. I have a certain set of skills where y'all can leave here and it'll be as if we never came. You'll simply believe some catastrophe happened and the men you lost could not be helped.
He's not kidding. He didn't really do that.
Once again, he looks at Walter and he goes, "What have you gotten yourself involved in?"
Shit.
The well goes deeper than any of us ever thought.
I crawl out of the hole. What do you mean what we're involved in? Look at you.
I'm helping moving letters and packages. You all are eating people. I don't think we're quite on the same page.
We don't get paid as much as you do.
Well, then I think I picked the better life choice.
Oh my god.
So we keep him on an allowance for a reason.
Them, whoever you're moving letters for, who knows what's out here, you might just be employed by more like us, be honest with you. Tell me, how well dressed were these men? You said they were businessmen?
Well, the lady was seemed to be doing most of the talking, which I thought was interesting enough as it is. The two guys that were with her, I took for more muscle and protection, but they were fairly well dressed.
What did the lady look like?
Red hair, blue eyes, kept it in a long braid behind her, had glasses on her face from what I remember, and she kept this pretty ornate journal with her that she kept taking notes in. Wouldn't tell me what it was about. I asked a couple times, but seemed to be jotting certain things down here and there.
Did oh god, Scarlet, I don't know, Red, did Mr. Black's right hand woman have her hair in a braid?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Walter's immediately gonna hold his hand up to whatever height she was and be like, about yay high.
Right around there, yeah. Granted, this was a while ago, but
And about yay here.
God damn it.
hey, no shame.
No, I do not.
I'm a married man, son. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff much anymore.
Don't worry, your new employers don't have that shame either. Yep. All right. Well, say one thing. They're the type might get pretty mad at you if anything were to happen to these parcels and such too. So unless we have some real good reason for messing with them, then maybe we best let them be. Is there anything we need from this, Liam?
I think the information that's in those letters in that crate would actually be very, very beneficial, considering we have a good inkling of who is now pulling those tethers.
Sure, right.
But beyond that, I don't see much else that we would need from this gentleman other than just keep an eye under the bargain.
Now, don't we want to read these and see who Mr. Black is talking to?
Oh, yes, but we don't necessarily need him here for that.
And I will say, I'll just assume that all of you at least looked at the journal. And I will say, Lyman, Walter was actually able to follow this because there's a big difference between not being able to read and not being able to just understand like figures jotted down. You all got from looking at this ledger that it was a tally of what was stuff was both coming and going from this location. It wasn't all just going in one direction. It was stuff was coming in and going one direction. It was going this was kind of like a waypoint from what you're getting. It was him keeping note of what came in and what left. So that way you kind of get the idea it was more of like an insurance policy of like, hey, if something went missing, it didn't go missing at this spot kind of thing. How much money was passed as far as like what was given for each delivery and everything else. And like I said, little just notes of who it from when and where it was coming from. And I will say, who has the highest intelligence score of this three? 2, 2, 1. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say both Walter
And we've been very
and
successful.
Liam, go ahead and make a wits plus academics roll.
Everyone knows that intelligence is a dump stat anyway.
Right?
I assume I'm +1 difficulty on this.
Yep.
Oh, way a die, don't fail me now. Otherwise, it's a 0. It's a 0. 2 6s though.
I would have had 4, but that one killed it, so 3.
Okay. So 3 successes.
Mhm.
Walter, you still can't make heads or tails of it. You're still kind of focused on this guy that you used to know. Noah, you're focused on kind of looking at all the parcels and letters and seeing which of them look most interesting to kind of dig through. Liam, you suddenly start noticing as you flip through the little leather-bound journal, multiple times both of receiving and going the initials GG. And with the connection to now Mr. Black, the name of the Golden Goose suddenly comes to mind. And you realize that at least some of these parcels were being delivered to and or coming from the Golden Goose, or at least it's a safe assumption, though it was not the only location. It was not a one-to-one thing. This seemed to be multiple different places or people. That also opens up other possibilities of that all the initials in here might not necessarily be given names. It could be names of places or businesses or things like that, but there seem to be multiple along this route.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh my God, these vampires everywhere!
Geneva. I
Well,
just assume that's both her first and last name.
Geneva.
well, it seems as though we have what is that? Look, you stepped in it again.
I don't know who the captain speaks up again. Can't say I know who this Mr. Black was. A girl let on that she was definitely working for an employer, but never gave me an official name. And like I said, that made me pretty suspicious at first, but let's just say they gave us a hefty incentive at the beginning to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Money high, questions not asked. Understood. So, I just want to know, Walter, does this conclude our business for the evening?
As long as we can figure out how to get everyone, let everyone live on, man.
I assume that, your men and yourself know a good pathway out of here on their own horses. Yeah, on your own horses. I can't speak.
We're familiar with the area and we know the fastest way to town.
Look, let me tell you, if you stay, if you change your mind, something and stay here, sooner or later, y'all are gonna get attacked not just by us, but others that even stronger than us, man. It'll be worse than this was by far. If this dude who's shipping letters here has any feeling that anyone saw them, he's not a nice fella. Y'all don't want to be found here. That's all I'm saying. if you have second thoughts about leaving, just it's for y'all's good to get the fuck out of this whole operation, this whole neck of the woods.
On the other side, I get to be called a deserter by the U.S. Army.
U.S. Army don't eat people.
Look, I don't know that I don't believe anyone might not do that now. All right, so what's next?
Well, oh, this sucks, man. But Liam, how long does it take you to help someone forget?
Depending on the person and the level of willpower, 5 to 10 minutes per person. We have what, about 8, 9 young lads still downstairs?
I will also say it also depends on how much you're asking them to forget.
Well, yeah, it also depends on like I'm changing like the last couple of days, not years of their life.
Yeah, so Liam, I would say you would know that because this is more of a hypnosis effect. As with conventional hypnosis, you're probably looking at least a good couple of hours, depending on how thorough of it also depends on whether you're just deleting information or creating new memories to fill the gaps. So it depends on whether you're doing just a amnesia effect or doing a switcheroo with the memories.
I'm just gonna basically arrange an attack that, started a large fire and they had to get the hell out of Dodge. Unfortunately, not everyone survived.
Yeah. So which is more than willing, you're more than able to do that. That's just going to be not just deleting, that's also creating new memories.
Yep. So how long would it take you and your man to get loaded up and head out?
How much of the base are you letting us take with us?
Well, you said your fastest way to the closest.
Just the food and horses.
Yeah, we don't really need much of the rations that are down there.
We can be out in 15 minutes.
Oh. And I suppose I will go downstairs and get myself to work right now. You, sir, will be the last one that I visit for the evening.
Look at me.
I'll be here with bells on. I'm gonna go look for bells.
Okay, so you leave?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Walter or Noah, is there anything else you want to do in this moment?
I'll look to Captain Wells here and be like, especially trying to make sure that kid makes it out. I think his name's Franklin. I'm guessing you don't need to be told that, but just it's a weird fucking place out here. Keep an eye on him, man.
It's a good kid. Fixing to make a good soldier.
He's got the spirit in him.
Yep. Well, damn, we all at one time.
If it makes you feel any better, there is a pretty big bad force up here, out further in Indian land, and it ain't the Indians, and it ain't because of them. It's just there's stuff beyond humanity that takes something strong to fight against. If they came through here, and just say, don't matter how many guns you got, especially if you only got this little amount of silver bullets. Wouldn't have saved y'all anyway. Maybe this way. Shit, I ain't gonna make excuses, but maybe this way, fewer of you kick the bucket than the other way.
Someone told me this yesterday. If this wasn't coming out of the mouth of a man I thought dead these last couple of decades, I would say you're full of horseshit. But given the circumstances, I'm not one to fight facts when they're facing me dead on. If your friend there can do what he said he can do, might be grateful for a chance to forget. You can take this any way you want, but given the circumstances, I think I liked you better when you were a memory.
Yeah, I think I like me better that way too.
If I forget, just know that I still share a drink with you every so often. I keep that picture for a reason.
I'm glad you went on to do good by your men. Sure, these ain't the first ones. Hopefully not the last, in one way or another, even if it ain't in the army. I don't say this, but I think it's appropriate here, man. Godspeed. Y'all need to take care. And Walter's gonna tip his hat and amble out, Spurs ringing.
All right. Noah, what are you doing?
Oh, I left quietly.
Okay. Silent but deadly, you sneak out. All right.
Like
Wea.
a spider fart.
Yes, like a spider fart. Memories. Wea. While all this is transpiring, you are in the barracks. Henry is still unrestfully sleeping as he tosses and turns and mutters in his sleep a bit. And Asmodeus is there with you, and you have some pieces of wood, some leather bits, some metal grommets that seem to be made, and
I also had the buck antlers.
the buck antlers, as well as these. How many was it of the talons?
It's 3 now because Asmodeus is keeping one.
3 of these lupine talons that have the runes carved into them at your disposal. And Asmodeus is sitting there scratching the hair on his chin, just kind of knowing. All right, so your friend's fucked. And he looks at Henry.
Yeah. Aren't we all sort of fucked in our own way?
Oh, but this is a special. Okay. Listen here. Let's just say I know a thing or two or about the flavor of fucked your friend is. And there's messing with you lot kind of fucked. There's messing with these fucking mutts kind of fucked. There's messing with me kind of fucked. And then there's his fucked.
So you are proficient in demons?
I picked up a thing or two in my time, and me and Octavian like to share some stories.
Then share with us a remedy.
Bullet between the eyes, but even that might not do it. See,
There's another way. There has to be.
Problem with this is it depends on whether or not he chose to fuck himself or not. So he chose this. this thing's gonna stick on him like tar on the back of your shoe.
Like chains.
Like chains, welded to you. Sure, you can break him free, but there might not be much left of him after you're done if you don't do it just right. Of course, if he got unintentionally fucked, there's certain things you can do. Unfortunately, I'm usually the one doing the fucking, not the one unfucking things. So you'd have to ask someone else. Like I said, Octavian or some holy fuck might be what you're looking for, but I'll give you this one little piece of advice. Well, two. One, sleep with one eye open. Two, if you can name the thing, you got something to bargain with, or give it a bigger fish to fry. You offer it a better deal, it might just mosey on along. Or if you want to force it into, and you notice that as he's talking, as Henry is kind of stirring a little bit more, and he's like, also assume that it's always listening. But you know what it is. If you can call it by name, might be able to do something with that.
Is it possible to get it from reading his mind?
Listen, I might know about these things, but let's just say that each individual deal is a bit personal between the fucker and the fucky. But it's a part of him now, if I understand this correctly. And let's just say, I know people have made plays for power, made plays for certain things. If you're smart, there's a way you can work around it without leaving yourself as the bait. But something tells me that he offered himself up. So that means that he and it are pretty tightly bound. Those moments when you're talking to him, it's because it's letting him off the leash a little bit. It's a choice.
The burden of choice.
I mean, hell, aren't we all just in the same boat? We all pretend that we're still human. We're still fucking around in our old meat suits, but end of the day, a little bit of fire or get hungry enough and our true selves come out. We're all in it for the same reason. Pain. Oh, something happened to me. I can't take it anymore. Please bite me. Oh, I'm not strong enough. Help me help everyone. We're all in it for some fucking reason. We all signed up for it. Now we're all pretending like it didn't happen.
Well, maybe we just have things we would like to accomplish before we walk into the sun.
I've known plenty who have made that walk. Not me. Kind of taps you on the shoulder. You know how I'm going out, big man? Going out in a blaze of glory. Gunpowder everywhere. Taking out as many fucks as I can at the same time. When I go out, that's how I'm going. How about you?
When I feel like the mission is over, and that what I want is finally achieved, then maybe my time here will be concluded. But
well, maybe.
I can't say what exactly or when, but there's more to do.
Here's the thing. if you're strong enough and you're smart enough, clever like me, you get to choose if and when you want to close that book. Don't let someone else take that choice from you.
True.
Right. So these things. Should we try and piece this together for your dandy friend?
Yeah, we better get started, even though I don't know what the fuck he wants me to do with this. Bunch of string, and I can do what I can, but I never made weapons out of things like this.
Well, let me say, if you were an expert at making weapons out of lupine bones, I'd say that you should talk with our employer because you have a different skill set than most of us do.
That's true.
He pays for special shit.
I see that with you five.
And those red eyes kind of just look at you and he goes, yeah, we all had our reasons for signing up.
So as I'm like kind of working on the necklace, I'm gonna say, so you're just some sort of vampiric demon? Or were you a vampire before you made a deal?
Let me ask you something real quick and then I'll tell me how much I can tell you. How long you been around for?
About the same, maybe a little bit longer than the cowboy.
All right, still new. But this job, it's made you see some fucking crazy shit that even most of our kind hasn't seen or doesn't even believe is real.
Like a hellgate?
Like a hellgate. Here's the thing. Unless you just keep your nose in the politics and the bullshit of all this, something you learn pretty quick is that if we're possible, what the fuck else is? And there's one true, honest thing about this existence. Power talks. I don't care what fucking rules or beliefs you have. The ones that can have ideology are the ones strong enough to uphold it. Otherwise, fuck it. You get wiped off the board. What you believed in or what you fought for, no one gives a fuck. But you're strong enough, then you can choose to be a tyrant or benevolent. Point being, let's just say me and my kind, we know that there's bigger fish out there. So if you want a little piece of that, best saddle up and know how to deal.
So then what did you trade for power? Or what did you leave behind? Since nothing to you matters.
Hey, and he pats his guns. My babies matter to me. Won't hear you say nothing on the side about that, but
So your possessions. But your ideals don't matter, do they? Unless you're being swayed by power or money.
Power is my ideal, son. I just try and keep in this game for as long as I can, see what else I can find out. And you know what I found out so far? Pain. The world is pain. We come into this world kicking and screaming and we go out the same way. The longer I can hold on, maybe I find out another truth or two.
So you're a coward that runs from pain.
Hell no, I embrace it. Dish it out and take it just the same. I'm just man enough to admit that it's the truth. I ain't running from shit.
While you might not be running, a man you are not. And you are far from it.
Well, thank you. Thank you kindly.
Now anyway, help me with this fucking weapon.
All right. So go ahead and I'll let you make a choice where you can either We can make 2 different crafting rolls for you and Asmodeus, or you can roll yours with a lower difficulty.
Oh man, we're gonna do over all this. I have faith in Asmodeus.
Well, that's a phrase no one's ever regretted.
So what's the roll?
So this is going to be because you're trying to. This isn't something you know how to do. This is something you're trying to fumble through. This is going to be a wits plus craft roll.
Yeah, this is all bad. And I do not have craft, so it's 8.
Okay, so since you're choosing to make your own roll, that's going to make this difficulty. Ooh boy.
'Cause none of us have craft. That's why I was curious if Asmodeus did.
Go ahead and make this difficulty 7.
Okay.
I have 1 in craft. Oh, flex.
An expert among us.
1 dot flex.
Noah just comes out with like the hand turkey made out of mud and dirt on like
I got 0. Nothing. I rolled.
All right.
bad.
You try, and you know that there's got to be a way to do this. In the meantime, Asmodeus is just sitting here and he's already whittling down the antler with a Bowie knife, and he's starting to make a handle out of it. Yeah, because he got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes on his. And he kind of looks at you and he's like, "Didn't you ever make your own weapon sometime?"
If I had to make a weapon, I'd probably just use my fists. I'm not
I can
one
respect
for-
that. All right.
not
Here, and
one
he kind
for
of gives you a couple of
craft.
pointers. You guys get the idea that this is probably going to take you a couple of nights to actually get it, but he gives you a couple of pointers of what to do and the idea he has anyway.
Okay.
All right, Atris.
All right. Go ahead.
You are up on your tower. You had started to work out some of the damage in your sword. What else would you like to do? I will say at this point, you see from your tower, you saw the captain being marched into his chambers by the other 3, and then the 3 of them, one by one, coming out. With, to the best of my knowledge, you guys kind of just left the captain tied up on the chair, like in his quarters. So.
All right, so I believe we've already done the rolls for the sword repair. So by this point, she's gonna dismount from the tower, go back to the ground floor, and seek out the group who is just interrogating the captain.
Okay, so then you see Liam and Noah, and then Walter coming out of the building.
Was your talk with the captain productive?
Found out something real interesting about what who's writing them letters and whatnot.
How should I ask? How fucked are we?
Well, so far, it's more their problem than ours, but let's just say Mr. Black's got a lot of reach down here in Tejas.
Did you say Mr. Black?
I said it, but he didn't hear me say it. And that's the point. We don't need to leave our own traces here.
We left on tense terms last time we saw him. I would rather not in any direction encounter Mr. Black or his associates again.
And Liam and Noah, are you guys like out here too? Like, are you hearing us? Can
Well,
I?
Liam left a little bit first because he was going straight to
Yeah.
the barracks to start kind of working.
No, I would say you're
Or
there.
to the stable.
Yeah, I would have been there.
Okay. Yeah, I turned to Noah. I'm like, you didn't like destroy any of them letters or anything, did you?
No, 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 no. I have them saved, but we might want to put them back before we leave.
Uh, could we at least find out what's in those letters and put them back before we put them back at least?
That's what I kept them for.
Sure. Supposed to find out why Mr. Black has interest in this area, specifically with, clearly influencing this fort to engage the lupine. That's what it sounds like.
That
Well,
seems
then I
like
leave these
he's
to
aware of.
you as I hand him a stack of letters.
Are you handing them to Atris or to me?
Atris first. I say, you seem to be most interested in this.
Well, I'm sure Liam would want to read these as well, but amongst the group of us here, and she just gives a slight, she knowing that Walter can't read, she doesn't say anything. She's like, I will help relay the information to you once we read everything.
And then remind me, Noah, did you just take the letters or did you also take the box that was in there?
No, just the letters, but I took note of the box and
Okay.
the 3 piles of cash.
Okay, just checking. All right. So Atris, you now have these stack of, and again, some of them are regular like letter sized envelopes. Some of them are like bigger packages.
Anything else you learned from the captain?
Learned he's a good dude. Not real happy about what we did to the men here, but they were probably gonna get fucked one way or the other. So we're gonna have Liam tell them to leave in a way that they think they were running from a fire or something.
Oh, that's right.
were
We
never
have
here.
to burn this entire place.
Oh.
Don't forget.
You hear a cough from behind you, Noah, as you look, and PETA is sitting there. Wasn't the whole point of me bringing you here so that way you would have a place of strength to go and ride out from and then fall back to if you needed to?
Yeah, I don't know about that whole burning down the place. It's kind of a nice fort.
If we're gonna wipe out memories, I assume that's what Liam is doing right now. We don't have to burn down this place anytime soon or at all. I mean, that's kind of their problem if their stories don't match up. We used them the way we didn't want to. I am full, so I do not need any more blood. So you can do whatever you want. But as of right now, this is a strategic place, and we're not going to burn it down quite yet.
I didn't say tomorrow. I said when we leave. So we need to make note of this for the future. Because if we leave them with an unburnt base and it is their problem, it will look more suspicious. Why no one's story matches up with the reality.
Maybe Liam will figure out a different story. I don't know, man.
PETA looks at Walter and he goes, it makes you feel any better before you think he's too good of a guy. He has had his men on his orders kill my people as they move through these parts.
Yeah, he mentioned he just takes out hunting parties at will.
Shit, is that what he was saying?
White man,
Once
my
we're done, I don't care if it's on fire, man. I don't know what to believe anymore.
These are just buildings. It'll leave a better story for Mr. Black.
Walter pulls off his hat and is like looking around. Wait, can't someone touch like these letters or something after we're done and like tell that you were standing here and that we were having this conversation? Isn't that something Adele and probably actually Red, come to think of it, can do. Maybe we shouldn't leave these here. I think you're onto something. Yeah, all right. All right. We better better regroup. How many enemies are we gonna make, man?
But we
Look,
don't.
I'm sorry for your hunting
As
parties.
of right now,
Pete.
we know their connection with Mr. Black is just the humans. I mean, right now we're overestimating, thinking that he has someone on staff that can do what Adele can do, and she's kind of looking at the letters and kind of putting the piece together, and she almost doesn't even want to hold the letters right now.
To answer your question, Walter, always one more.
Peter looks at you all and goes, look, at the end of the day, I don't care one way or the other. You all needed to eat, and I brought you to a group of people that I wouldn't feel guilty about if they weren't here anymore.
Well, I'm glad your conscience is clear. We're done here for a little bit. I'm gonna. What, Noah? Were you headed in a direction, by the way? Because I would have gone to follow you, and that probably I would have vaguely headed toward the barracks, but I actually ran out of places to go now.
I think I would have been headed towards the barracks to check on our friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna busy myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna check horses and
All right.
our gang and so on.
Yeah, if you want to check horses, I mean, that would take you to the direction Liam's going, where he's going to go whammy the men.
Oh, all right then. Well, shit. If it, yeah, okay. Yep.
Okay. So, Atris, what are you doing standing there with those letters?
At this point, she might as well. I don't know how long it's been since she's checked him on Way and Henry herself, so she's gonna head to the barracks as well.
Okay. You head that way. Noah, you said you were going to the barracks too. Okay, so you and Atris walk in, and you see Henry still kind of tossing and turning in his sleep on his cot, as you see Asmodeus going, no, not like that. You gotta break it. You gotta go and turn it this way, and then you wrap the tool like this. God damn it! Don't you know what you're doing?
I have no idea what I'm doing. This is the problem with this.
I hope you're not screwing up our future weapons.
Hey, if it's your future weapon, how about you come over here and you make it yourself? Instead of the person who doesn't know shit. It's frustrating, okay? I rip people apart, not these little tiny things.
I didn't even know you guys were doing this until a couple days ago, so I'm more or less just reaping the benefits from the sidelines.
You looking to send off some messages to your gentlemen callers?
All of them.
Sure, what kind of letters?
No, he's pointing at the stack of letters that you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, this apparently is a list of letters from our lovely friend Mr. Black and his associates to the captain of this fort.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this here's a letter carrying fort.
Why does it seem like we can never get away from that guy?
Well, he is kind of the equivalent of our employer in these parts, at least for now.
Makes me think that he's gonna have to die for us to even get away from him if things keep escalating like this. I feel like, anyway.
I tell you what, you keep a hold of those. Send them back with me when we get done here. I'll put in a good word that you found them. This, if anything useful comes from it, might earn you a particular favor you can ask the big boss.
Well, looks like we found a way to get rid of these things.
I suppose so. We find out what's in them.
I don't care if you snoop.
I mean, I'm surprised Liam hasn't opened them up anyway already.
He's taking care of the remainder of our human friends. Apparently, they struck a deal with the captain to let the rest of them go.
The fuck?
That's what taking care of means here. Got some survivors.
I thought they were supposed to be food.
There was some that was food, and thing is, we just got this here stack of useful information for bartering a deal.
Question. If we can make them remember a fire that didn't happen, can we make them remember survivors that didn't happen?
I don't.
I'm not in this
know the
room, so I
answer to
can't
the
answer this
question.
question.
I'm sure Liam can make up whatever fucking story he wants in their head, as long as he's got enough time.
I'd have confidence in his abilities.
I'm sorry. I need to circle back around to the why are we letting the food go?
Nola,
What, are you afraid they're gonna come back and hurt you somehow?
No, I'm afraid that we're gonna go fight some fucking werewolves and might need to heal up a bit when we get done. And having a captive food supply isn't necessarily a bad idea.
Like I explained outside, I'll explain inside for you. This is after we're done with them. This is long in the future. As long as they don't die, they can stay.
Age is gonna look at Walter and ask, "How is Liam doing this now, or how long do we have before we're intending on releasing them?"
Thought we was planning to let him go. Like now, kind of.
2 hours.
Whenever Liam can do it. Get them the fuck out of here. Because there's a lot of shit about to go down in this area. Maybe not right here, but in this area. If you want to eat, you know the werewolves run with humans. Hell, eat a werewolf for all I care.
I hear that doesn't sit right.
It didn't. But made me feel kind of powerful for a minute.
Fuck. All right. And speaking of Liam, fade. Liam, you approach the stables. The horses are there, yours and theirs. Some chickens, a goat. And there are.
I just attempt to spook the goat to see if it faints.
Okay. What do you do to spook the goat?
I just gonna sneak up on it. Like, ah! Oh no!
Yeah.
Actually, I'll do what I did that got Bartleby to shoot me. I'll just quickly go into obfuscate and then pop back up near it.
First, give me a Dex plus Stealth to sneak up on the goat.
This was not part of my plan, but it is now.
What is planned?
I got 3.
All right. You feel like you're being very stealthy as you approach this goat. Now go ahead and give me a manipulation plus intimidation roll.
Cancels that. Put this here.
Okay. Yeah. You sit there and sneak up on this unsuspecting barn animal and just as it just faints and passes up, legs up in the air.
Oh, I guess they do exist. I heard stories. Oh, I'm sorry, gentlemen. Oh, dang it. Well, too late to go back on an accent now, I guess. Well, I'm here to inform you that we have struck a deal with your captain, and we'll be letting you all go.
They all kind of look around. Is all kind of currently gagged.
No need to thank me. I know it's been a harrowing experience. Why, thank you. I dressed very nicely today. We're going to keep having these kind of conversations if you keep doing that. Good boy. Now, and I was just start like, how many are there?
I
It's
think
it's like 8 or 9.
overall there's about 13.
Okay. Do you want me to do one big roll? Do you want me to?
Yeah, it would be one big roll of their. So what's the roll for the forgetful mind?
It is wits and subterfuge.
Their wits, is it versus their roll?
It's
or
versus their willpower.
Versus their willpower. Okay, so you have a difficulty of 4.
And I have a dice pool of 7.
Because again, these are humans. So
I'm gonna break off from that group that was chatting and come to the stables eventually.
okay. You'll probably saunter in as he's mid doing what he's doing. You hear the distant sounds of a fainting goat.
Only slightly louder than a spider fart.
Yes.
At div 4, I got 7 successes.
Yeah. Now I think there's a chart there of how much you can manipulate with how many.
At that point, I could manipulate portions of their entire life.
Cool. So I will say it's still, I'm trying to remember what time of the evening it is at this point. I think if I remember correctly, we're still fairly early in the evening.
Because this was night 3. We had kind of
Yeah. So I would say you get the idea that it's going to take you with how many of them are, because unfortunately you do not have the level of this discipline where it's a area effect. So you're basically having to Sigmund Freud every single one of these guys and slowly hypnotize them. And it's very much for Walter, as you walk up to watch this, it is very much like watching a therapy session where someone's undergoing hypnosis, where it's that whole thing of y'all came and attacked the fort. No, don't you remember? That never happened. Basically, it's Liam gaslighting people for a couple hours.
No.
Yeah.
We came here as friends. Now, we're not sure what happened, but the attack came swiftly from the natives outside. And realistically, the fire was almost inevitable. So when the captain comes, you will be ready to depart this fort at a moment's notice, because you have only your few lives left to survive. So make sure when the captain comes, you're ready to leave.
All right. So you have them believe that there was some kind of fire. So I will say that
we were attacked by natives. There was a fire that happened. The captain is coming to tell them to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Okay. So Liam knows that in order for them to not start questioning this once they're out of this room, having some evidence of an attack and a fire would help sell this hypnosis to them. Unless you're going to keep them blindfolded, march them out of here, and get them far enough away where they don't have the evidence to look at.
Look, melty body.
Right. So,
human soup.
but you get the idea that, and by the time you get out of it, they're all unconscious, but you feel like the false memory it takes time to erase the memories of the attack, of everything else, and place this false narrative in their head.
So by the time they're all falling asleep, is Walter there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd say he's there. Like I said, this takes the better part of a couple hours. So like, he'll be there while you're whamming them.
Well, they're going to need to get away quickly. Can you help me unbind them?
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to be here. Got you. I
It's a good thing it's just a story. Heaven forbid we start a real fire and just light a beacon to where we are.
You feel like starting fires? I don't want to be near that shit.
No, 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 no. It's just so they have an alibi and an out and a reason. This would be a great location to secure and actually give to our employer.
What? Why would you give it away?
Well, I mean, it would be a fortified point. It's somewhere that we can have access to and not necessarily give it away, but I'm sure
Guess the U.S. Army kind of knows where it is.
a little bit.
Aw.
But if they believe that the property is in shambles and no longer valuable, they won't really come looking, especially when it's supported by the captain and the survivors.
Just I'll be here whenever the captain's headed this way, if that's how you want to do it. I can let him go then, or however. You just
Is
let
the
me-
young man going with them?
He needs to.
Oh, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if your plan was to somehow do something else to make him safe or if he was going with them, but I will make sure they get a similar story as well.
I'll be honest, I didn't have a real good plan for that kid if all the other ones died. Was a little worried about that. Just,
All right,
hey
well,
kid, just step out here in the wilderness, figure life out. Just leave. What that? This is better.
now, if because I know I spoke to Noah over the last couple of nights. I know he found repair kits that we might be able to use on the carriage itself. Not sure if anyone has been able to look at that and see if it can be patched up to full, or at least relatively full strength. But I am going to go make sure that young Franklin and the captain have the word. So if you're ready for that to happen now, probably 20 minutes, he'll be down.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
All right. Just
On
make
your
sure you have the front.
non-existent wristwatch.
Just pull out one of my spare pocket watches, like here.
Yeah, thanks. I don't even look at it and just stuff it into a pocket.
So I do wanna, because I'm kind of not beckoning Walter to come with me. I'm kind of going off on my own
Huh?
because I want to alter the captain's memory just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to find the group because I want to talk about this wagon wheel thing.
Okay.
And not setting a real fire.
Most of the group seems to be in the barracks.
All right, so I did what I need to do to Franklin. Put him to sleep for a little bit. That's fine. Well, sir, your men have been taken care of. They are basically waiting for what I call a trigger, which would be you coming down and telling them that it's time to go. Are you ready?
I suppose.
Now, as promised, you will not recall our being here. You will not recall your former associates coming by. All you'll know is that there was a bit of a travesty here and some mighty fine men were lost, but you did what you could to pull the others out.
Very
Now,
well.
this will be just a bit easier if you just try not to resist and let me do my talents.
I feel like that's not the first time you've said that to a man.
Yeah, true, but I also forgot to look for any bells around the place.
All right. Go ahead and make your roll, this time difficulty 5.
It is
Go ahead.
4 successes.
Yeah, you are able to peer through the mind. What do you do?
So same thing as everything else. He's going to get the same version of the story, but I am just going to kind of throw in there. It's like, and as your days continue, you just seem to remember that days leading up to here, that young man who saved your life all those years ago. And from time to time, you will think of him fondly. Smile to yourself just for a second.
In the state of trance, he sits there and goes, huh, that's an easy one. I already do.
Well then, it's time to wake up, sir.
And I assume you guys had already uncut all the men and everything else.
Yeah, I need to say that's actually what I needed to be doing, not walking away. Like,
Okay.
yes.
Have you guys done anything to help sell this from a physical standpoint of that there was a attack from the local Native Americans and a fire?
We have an engine.
I mean, the bodies were there and then they got buried, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And currently, much to your benefit, as far as like being vampires, nothing currently has any fire damage except for that corpse that had fallen outside the wall that Wea had yeeted off the tower.
Is that where that had gone?
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, and then there's the guy that burnt alive from the inside out, but you know.
yeah. I would look for that, but I'll tell you what, I don't know what the hell I would do. I'd probably go seek out Bartleby and ask him if he can shoot.
Set fire to the rain.
What could he set fire to
No.
that wouldn't set the whole damn fort on fire? Well,
Are
that
you
whole
asking
central
Bartleby?
munitions thing would do it, but that would be
I think
real
he's
bad.
asking the ether right now.
Got it.
I mean, if anything, I'm like, I could try to roll for it, or I could come over to the group after untying these dudes and ask, or right before I untie them and ask. I don't think Walter's in a weird spot here. This is a weird story to try to sell.
Walter and his existential crisis. Yeah, Bartleby's around. Like, once you guys got done whamming the captain and Franklin, he's sitting there with a glass and just kind of drinking his whiskey and looking out at the night.
He's in there with Liam though, right?
Oh, at this point, he's done. He's not needed.
Oh, where are you saying that Bartleby is? Like, is he outside?
Yeah, he's outside. He's just kind of walking
I
about.
could find him.
You see him kind of just walking about the base.
Oh well, shit. Well, I'll do that. I mean, I'll go find him and be like, I guess Mr. Duquesne told them that there's a fire, and we need to make it look like this place got attacked by some natives and somehow fire got caught. I don't know how to do that. I don't really want to. We don't want this place to actually go up in flames, man. But if them men were to encounter something that would make them think, oh shit, we have to get away from the fire and the base is gone. Could I enlist your help?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me think. I do have an idea. If Master Duquesne has done his bit, they're gonna be kind of out of it for a hot minute.
As they used to say in the 1800s.
Yes, as the youths back then said, as they were all getting crunked and turned up, as it were. I have an idea. What we need to do is get all those guys and bring them with their horses, and we'll make sure that the horses' saddlebags are full of enough rations to get them at least a few days out. They can try and hunt from there.
Shit, we got to do their packing for them.
Yep. Yes, you do. as he's looking and nodding at you and hoping that you're not going to make him do it. I will say that if the group wants to, with the help of PETA, Asmodeus, Bartleby, and anyone who's not otherwise preoccupied, in the next half an hour or so, with the direction of Bartleby, who actually seems to be relatively comfortable with scamming a bunch of soldiers, as given that his background is that of a street thief and scammer. All the men are brought out as best as they can, fully dressed, binds cut, saddlebags ready to go, horses saddled and everything else. He also wheels out a barrel of black gunpowder, and he brings them all out where they're a good 30 feet away from the base. And kind of gets his knife and gets it so that way the powder starts spilling out a little bit. And he takes and kind of makes a line of it that goes about 15 feet away from where it is. Now, the keg itself is far enough away from the actual base to keep it from doing any damage to the base itself. But you know that this, especially being black powder, is going to make a big bang and a whole lot of smoke.
I know I'm nowhere fucking near that.
There he goes. And I think all of you want to be far away from this, and it's going to make a lot of noise. So if anyone's out listening, they're going to hear this. But if you want to sell this, it'll sell it. But I leave it up to all of you if you want me to do this or not.
Well, I can cover up some of the noise. That'll help, our friends out there from hearing some of it.
Oh, that's right. If you put your thing around it, but don't you have to be near it to do that?
Within 20 feet, so I would have to be quite close to the fire.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
what if you were on the other side of the wall over here? You still reach it?
Technically, yes. I don't think it's. I'm trying to remember if Beatrice actually has knowledge of her sphere going past walls.
I mean, it's a range thing, so it can, as long as it's within the range that you can do it, a physical barrier. You just have to be able to see where you're putting it.
Wait, what? See where you're putting it?
I'm dirty.
Okay,
Yes.
so like if it's through a wall, then no?
I mean, she can be behind the wall, and hopefully that would acknowledge the beast would realize that it's not right up on it kind of thing. It might lower the roll difficulty rather than just being exposed and out in the open.
I could try being on the other side of the wall and see if that works. At least I would not be able to see the fire, but it's still only 20 feet away, and I don't know if that's even close enough to help with the gunpowder.
Speaking of seeing the fire, won't we be alerting the locals with our big cloud of smoke going up?
Yeah, very much so.
Which is why I told you guys to wait till we leave for burning this place.
Well, we're not burning the place. We're just making it seem like it for a little bit. But right now, the illusion is still enough that we might cause a bit of distraction.
Man, gunpowder don't leave that much smoke. Not quite like what you're thinking. It'll be some, but it's.
But wouldn't that gunpowder
kind of a
be more
flash.
fun in the cannon? Did you see the cannon? We got a cannon
There's a cannon? Shit, man.
right in the smack middle of everything, right in that storage shed.
And Wei, I'll say you're with them, so you can be part of this discussion. You all came out to discuss the plans on this.
I think warning the locals or them hearing something that we're doing here, very bad. Not good. Waiting until we're done with, getting them away from this place to activate this whole thing. Good idea. if we want to do it before we go to the, the werewolves or whatever, we're not like Asmodeus says, we're not gonna have a place to come back to with blood. We're just gonna have to rough it out. Whereas
what are
we
you?
can just-
No one's setting the place on fire, man. It's just a little theater.
So are we okay? I'm confused then as well. Are we sending this explosive somewhere else? Or are we exploding it in the middle of town of the fort?
Literally, Bartleby just laid out some gunpowder along the ground far
Oh.
enough outside of the
Oh, that'd be
actual walls.
That's
And it was just so that when they're riding off, they might see a
oh, that's
fire.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. We're fine.
You're
fine.
telling me that Bartleby, the man who burnt down the town when I first met him, is qualified to start smaller fires?
If there's any person
look,
here
man,
who's qualified.
bigger's better. He can clearly do worse if he wants to.
He'll
And
be
we only
fine.
matter the choice that he made. He did effectively burn that building quite well.
He
And
didn't
the
even
rest of the
need that.
town.
Y'all needed an escape. I gave you an escape. And excuse me, Mr. Turkey Vulture, if I'm not the most subtle person here in the group.
Shit, this won't be the first time anyone's heard a loud bang around this base. You
They
said,
have
you
a
said
fucking
there's a cannon
cannon,
inside.
okay?
We'll be
It's a
fine.
good idea. I think we'll be fine.
If
We'll
you
be
think it'll
fine.
be fine, then
You heard way away as a wise man.
We'll be fine, guys.
You can tell that Bartleby really wants to do this. Like you're starting to suspect that there's a little bit of a firebug in Bartleby.
I was going to say, can I
And-
insight check
pyro.
Bartleby and see if he's becoming an arson?
Liam just has a
Yeah,
twinge
yeah.
in like upstairs. He doesn't know why, but it's there.
Go ahead and roll perception plus empathy.
Atris, I don't think it matters if there's a little bit of a gunpowder flash out here. I don't think we need to be close to this.
if you say so.
6 successes.
I'll say with that level of success, you don't really get that like he's like a full-on like pyromaniac or anything. But you get the idea that he hasn't had a lot of fun lately, and this kind of seems like fun to him. Plus, he usually has to be so careful about like his job is usually putting out fires and being cold before you guys wake up. That the idea of actually getting to light a fire for a change seems like kind of a fun change of pace.
That's fair.
All
Good
these
idea.
dudes are on their horses, and I assume like the kid would ride his own. I don't.
He's
he has, like, a
actually
stable?
saddled behind the captain currently.
Okay, all right.
And Bartleby looks to all of you, but then he looks at Liam and he goes, Master, it's your call.
Oh,
I mean,
am I down there now?
yeah.
Well,
I haven't been saying anything because I thought I was still upstairs.
No, I literally said everybody's in on this.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if
Well,
the captain had actually arrived.
then in
yet.
that case, we
Yeah.
still have what, 2 of the blue potions left? I remember when Walter drank one last time, he was able to stick his hand almost entirely in the fire and not feel any fear whatsoever.
I
So
do
if we
have
want
one.
Atris close enough to throw up the silence of death, she could take one of those and not have an issue with fire whatsoever.
If we're willing to give up one of those potions for the illusion, sure, I can certainly do that.
Till it flares up toward her or something. I don't.
I mean, the last time we used it, it was just for funsies.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have done it for that reason either.
You
Looks
chose
at
to
Walter.
sit there and fire.
You're the one who talked me into. That was your idea.
Not my idea. Whose idea was it to stick his hand in the fire?
No, I mean that. Well, once you take the damn potion, you already took it. You might as well see what you can get.
What I'm saying is we
Turns
haven't
out you can get
we
burns.
haven't really needed them since. And we still have what? Well, we had 4. We only used the ones. We have 3.
The last challenge to get to the lupines. The ring of fire. Damn it!
I wish I had a ring of fire protection.
This is where I'd keep my potion of fire protection if I had one.
So that's just an option, just so we don't have to worry about that. We'd be able to have a small fire, not worry about anyone, or at least Atris going into frenzy. They buy the story, they take off, we put it out and shut the door.
What do you think, Atris?
Oh, that sounds like a sound plan to me. If we know these potions are effective, I'm not planning on sticking any appendages into the fire, so it would help cement our illusion while maintaining silence.
And you only need to have the silence of death up for the actual ignition, correct?
Yes.
Walter would know the answer to this question. Is that true?
Yes. Black powder is very much an instantaneous bang, flash, and then fizzle kind of thing. Because if you think about it, it's used in most firearms.
Yeah, it's a big quantity of it,
Yeah.
which is what I'm less familiar with.
So it's
How
going to be
it's,
a
like, used
bigger
in
bang.
fireworks.
It's going to be a bigger bang, but like it's still good. It's not something that's like a tar fire where it's going to be lasting for like 3 hours. It's going to be mostly a big boom, and then whatever cinders are there are going to slowly burn out.
Oh, good.
Well then, I hand Atris one of the blue potions. My dear,
Well,
so we should.
While you guys have been discussing this, as soon as Barbie heard that this sounds like this is happening, he went back and forth to that well that they have inside, and there are multiple buckets of water that he has off to where he had led the trail of black powder, so that way he can run up and douse it out as soon as possible.
All right, Aegis is gonna take the potion, and then she's gonna look at the others and say, "I suggest the rest of you maintain some distance."
All right, just make sure after the initial explosion you drop the cone or the silence, and we'll let them be on their way.
Oh, fuck, I'll help. And you see Asmodeus go, and he goes, just trust me, I know what to do. And he's off by where the men are, because the men are even further away from where like the explosion obviously is, so that way the explosion doesn't catch them or anything like that. And you see Asmodeus just kind of trudging in the snow off towards where all the men and the horses are. And you see that he's taken off his duster, and he's wearing what can only be said as a kind of blood-stained U.S. cavalry jacket that he must have like pulled off of one of the corpses before it got buried.
Not mad about it.
And Atris, as you take this potion, as this is your first time taking it, cold really hasn't affected you since the embrace. But as soon as you take it, almost going down, it's like drinking icy hot kind of thing. It's that the immediate chill to your veins, and you feel it go down your throat into your stomach and then spread out to every vein and appendage in you. It's not a uncomfortable feeling. It's just more of a, you feel almost like ice running through your veins.
Like McDonald's Sprite.
Exactly. This is a soda commercial in the happening. And yeah, so you throw up the cone in front, around the barrel. Do the rest of you go and retreat behind the wall?
Liam is going to attempt to sneak away from the rest of the group and go into the barracks, hoping that Henry is currently alone.
Okay. Make a dex plus stealth, and I need the rest of the group to make a perception plus alertness roll, please.
Is my difficulty raised? Because like there's a whole fucking gunpowder thing going on.
Yeah, I'll say for the rest of you, your difficulty is currently 8 because you are very focused on this going on. Liam, your difficulty is standard.
Well, I only got a 9 and a 1, so that's a 0 for me.
Yeah, you're really focused on this going right.
Oh shit. 10, 10,
successes.
10, 10, and a 1. Difficulty was 8. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, I have 1 success.
Okay.
I have 5.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Okay. Where? 2, 1, 2. Okay. So then Noah, you notice Liam slipping away from the rest of the group as you're all kind of like hiding behind the door. It's up to you on whether or not you want to do anything about it, but you notice him slip away.
I don't mind that he's going somewhere else.
Cool.
But I myself am headed to the barracks to find Oz.
Osmodeus is out in with the men. You saw him, he said, "Oh fuck, I'll help," and you saw him
Oh,
trudge
that's right.
off towards the men and the horses.
That's true. Then I'd have no business in the barracks. No, I just notice him walking away and I'd be all right with that.
Okay, cool. All right. Bartleby goes, all right, are we ready? And he's looking over at Atris. Yeah. Gets his flint. And you see the sparks going across the snow and melting their way through. And you've thrown it up and you hear the and then suddenly it goes silent as it goes in. No noise whatsoever, but little bits of barrel and everything else go flying everywhere. I need everyone behind the wall, except for Liam, who walked away, to go ahead and make a courage roll. But the difficulty is actually 5 because you knew this was happening. It's not a surprise. And you know you have that physical barrier of the wall that should be taking care of everything. Atris, you do not need to roll. Surprisingly, you kind of flinch and then you're like, oh, this is actually okay. 1 success.
She's enjoying
2
a firework show.
successes.
Did you say courage?
I did.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I rolled self-control. I got 1.
Okay. If everyone succeeded, so you do not frenzy. And Atris, do you then drop it? The comb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as it comes off, yeah.
Black smoke starts coming up. You see a little bit of the embers after the initial flash of little bits of burning barrel and things like that. And you hear off in the distance Asmodeus going, "Run, run, you sons of bitches! Get the fuck out of here! Hurry, get back to town! Every man for himself! Save yourselves!"
And while this is going on, Liam is sneaking Henry a little bit of vitae.
Okay, so you get back to there, and so you're gonna drop a little vitae in his mouth.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and spend the blood.
Done.
There is not the visceral reaction that would have been in the past. Give me either perception plus alertness or perception plus awareness, please. And let me know which one it is.
It will be alertness.
Okay.
2.
There's a oil lantern hung up on a hook in here, just one, just enough so there's enough dim light in here to not bump into things. And you swear that it's for a fraction of a second, but you swear that as the blood hits his lips, the shadows around the room kind of flicker a little bit, to the point where you can't be 1,000 with only 2 successes. You can't be certain whether it was just you being kind of very hyper aware of that there's something wrong with your new acquaintance and
There's an
your
explosion
mind's-
outside.
huh?
There's an explosion outside.
Right. Is your mind playing tricks on you, or did you actually see the shadows kind of flicker and move a little bit?
Oh.
And then all of a sudden and you see him kind of get up and he's reaching for something, and there's a basin of water and he kind of grabs it and just starts drinking heavily for like 30 seconds as water is just kind of pouring down, splashing onto his shirt. And you notice that there was definitely like a collection of sweat on his brow, and his hair looked kind of wet from sweating. And he's just like, oh, son of a bitch. Oh.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm just used to that being my given name.
How long was I out?
Oh, it's been 3 nights. Don't mind the commotion outside. We're just getting rid of the occupants.
I assume we did what we needed to do then.
And then some. But I'm afraid you have some explaining to do beyond just me.
Fuck, what did I do?
You made human soup, that's for damn sure.
I did what? How?
Catch your breath. Wait for things to settle down outside. But welcome back.
Thanks, I suppose. Oh, fuck, I need a drink. All right. Give me a minute, and once the room stops spinning, I'll get dressed and meet you outside.
I mean, you don't have to get dressed.
He looks at you and he's like, really? Right now? You're nothing if not consistent.
And Leah just walks back outside just to see what's going on, make sure things are going according to plan.
You see a plume of smoke that is up in the air, but it's not like this continuous black. It's not a like dumpster fire or anything like that. It was one big explosion that did its thing, almost like TNT going off. Yeah, for those of you that are outside, you hear the sound of horses running at full gallop, men shouting, and as those noises are getting softer and softer in the distance, Asmodeus walks back, and you see that he's still wearing the bloodied uniform jacket. Well,
how did you find one that fits you? Where'd you get that? I mean, I know where you got it. When the hell did you make? Are you starting to? Do you have a collection of dead man's clothes? Are you an actor?
But I think I'll take it back to Rebecca. She'd like this kind of thing.
I mean, if we were originally planning on joining everyone, what was your plan originally for your outfits?
Fuck, I don't question you all when you take your shit. Like,
hey, just I'm not Liam, all right, man. That's y'all. Each of us has our passions, and and whatnot.
Fuck you.
Fine.
And he just keeps walking into All right. So I assume you all come back inside. The fort itself is undamaged. There's definitely a little bit, not like, again, it wasn't TNT, so it's not like a giant crater or anything, just a big burn mark where the snow's been melted and kind of blown away in that one little like 5-foot area. You come back inside, you close up the thing. The fort is yours at this point. And all of you, I'd say, Wea, you definitely notice this, and all of you slowly do. After a little bit, you actually see Liam, who's standing outside the barracks, and suddenly Henry, now dressed, comes walking out wearing his vest and his shirt, and kind of using the edge of his shirt to kind of clean off
Liam will
his
help him walk.
glasses a little bit, and he's kind of blinking a little bit, even in the nighttime, just anything other than having his eyes open, and he's kind of seems not super, like he's not like listening a whole bunch, but you can definitely see he seems still a little bit shaky, but at least upright.
How's that friend doing?
Oh, he's awake, and from what I saw, very well healed. Although at least the outside, for the most part.
And has ears, though my head is ringing. I can speak.
Oh, that's so cute, Atreus. It likes to speak. Who's a good little holy warrior? Who's a good little holy warrior?
You just hear click as you look down, and there's a pistol aimed at your dick.
Now, is that a title that goes away, or is that something that's permanent?
What title?
Holy warrior.
Not something I would call myself. That is not. I kind of gave up that moniker when they decided to chain me underground and force occult experiments upon me.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go back to that either.
Kind of hard to root for the cause, as it were.
Well, you know, there's always another one.
Yes. And you can see he's looking a little bit awkward at this point. It has been brought to my attention that though I can honestly say I do not remember it, there may be some apologies that need to be issued. And he looks specifically at Liam and Wea. It is a very unusual feeling to be having a dream and feel that other people were there. Though I suppose anything is possible with this particular troop. And he notices PETA is standing off in the distance, and he is notably keeping his distance. He is not doing anything overtly aggressive or confrontational, but he is, while the rest of you kind of are approaching Henry, although I don't know how much you all are keeping your distance, it is obvious that PETA is kind of putting some space between himself and Henry.
I'd say Atreus would have a little less fear because she may have heard it, but she was not present during the events.
How about the rest of you? How are you reacting to seeing Henry on his feet again?
I'm not there. I'm actually by the wall. I'm watching these people right off.
Okay.
Kind of peek back out.
All right.
Glad he's standing, but I'm a little worried about his current state of affairs, seeing as how I saw him chained to a fucking boulder.
I'm seeing him, but I just see him as a guy that just got up from a coma.
All right. So he doesn't pick up too much awkwardness then, I would say. But he does look around and he's like, would someone mind terribly telling me what happened? The last thing I remember was we were stealthing in here. And that went as it normally does with this group. We began to have full-on conflict with the soldiers here. I heard a bang and there was a sharp, and then it's like for the first, as he's saying this, he like quickly almost like feels around and is kind of like lifting his shirt a little bit and feeling his stomach, and
Liam helps.
thank you. Oh God, your hands are cold. Yeah, he's definitely like washboard abs. But he's saying there, I thought I was shot, and then I assumed that I just must have lost enough blood that I blacked out, but that's honestly the last thing I remember, other than having some very bad dreams and waking up to the interesting experience of having Liam standing over me.
Could not hear you at all.
Oh, anyway. As far as we could tell, you were shot and you ended up being possessed by something. And it didn't look good, so Liam had an idea that we partner up and try to calm you down from the inside out. And thank goodness for Liam's thinking, it actually worked.
That dream you think it was. We were there, Wea and I. You nearly died. And something else nearly decided to take over.
That's not the way it's supposed to work. Did I hurt any of you?
No, but you boiled a man alive.
That's new. Not one of my, not normally my repertoire of gifts. I promise you that normally the best I can do is having better than average strength and reflexes, little bit of the healing aspect that you mentioned seems par for the course, but well, maybe not that good though. A gut shot is a gut shot, just slightly less aches and pains, and minor injuries heal quicker. And there's certain tricks I can do with, and kind of looks at his gun holsters and goes, there's certain things I can do with these, but I can definitely shoot bullets that burn, but not hot enough to burn a man from the inside out. That's...
Oh, these weren't bullets, my friend. This was a wave of your hand, if that. The same type of hand that grabbed Wea's arm and nearly started to burn that to a crisp.
Do you
Oh,
mean his
thankfully.
hand or the shadow hand that grabbed me?
Yes, that hand, the shadow. Thankfully, Wea was rather sturdy.
So I
The
did.
human, not so much.
He looks at Wea, and Wea, go ahead and give me a perception plus empathy roll. And I mean, anyone else who's looking at him can do this too if you so choose.
Oh,
Perception, empathy.
6 successes.
Okay. How many, Danny? 3? Okay.
He just got 2.
Okay. Noah, did you roll or are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
You don't have
That's
to.
not-
It's just if you choose to.
No, I'm all right.
Okay. Those who chose to roll, especially Wea, as you are kind of very much clued into what's going on, there does seem to be legitimate concern and remorse that he may have injured any of you. And he looks at you and goes, I'm terribly sorry for whatever I seem to have done. I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but I can assure you that it was not a conscious decision.
I've seen those possessed by forces they can't control. I know it wasn't you, but just, it's a thin line. Because if that was one of us being boiled, I could tell you wouldn't be waking up.
But shadows moving, and I mean, I've read about some of these things. I mean, some of them are similar to techniques that some of your kind seem to have from what I've studied, but again, not really something I've ever researched the mechanics of how to do. I thought one had to be one of your kind to do that.
Well,
as we know, there's all kinds of fucked up shit everywhere now, as you and us have discovered in our lines of work.
My abilities, it is hard to explain unless one of you has studied the occult extensively. What do you know of mages?
We've encountered some before, but that's about it.
They are one of the, there are many different philosophers and beliefs and paths of them. That's not just one group or anything like that. And they're almost as old as humanity itself. And I can say that the term is something of an over simplification. Different people refer to them as shamans, or some people say wizards, sorcerers, different things like that. But the one thing that all the different ones that have found a way to tap into the ethereal or arcane abilities, only one in every, from what I understand, 1,000 humans can actually do this. This is not an innate ability that is gifted to humanity. Otherwise, we would all be running around doing this. It pertains to someone being able to take the physical realm and, to some extent, shift it to their whim. This can be to open doors. This can be to summon certain elemental features. In my time, the reason I was sought by the Inquisition when I was young was I seem to be able to do this to a small extent, at least before, to my own physicality. Again, as I said, moving, I was faster than most of the children my age. I could take a bit of a beating, a bit more. You might not know this about me as he adjusts his glasses, but I was very bookish as a child. I'll give you a moment to let that shock seep in. but even with my rather thin physicality, I was able to take, and when I finally couldn't take it anymore, dish out a bit of a beating when I needed to defend myself. And sometimes I was able to affect things within my touch. And he kind of again pats the guns and goes, your friend, the blacksmith in town that I met a few times, she seems to have these abilities, though her medium and how she affects change in the world is slightly different, but the principles are the same. Recently, I found myself in a position that the what I thought was the source or inspiration of my gifts, I couldn't quite accept anymore, given my time in the dungeon and the experiments done on me. And when I turned from this, I found those gifts fleeting. As most of you know, some of you I think were newer to the group, as he kind of looks at Noah. The Inquisition is not they do not let members leave lightly. And you know that I was sought out while I was in town by someone who was trying to bring me back to the fold one way or the other, whether living or not, and had me tied and bound and was interrogating me given the nature of my escape and what I may or may not have known about the attack on San Miguel. And at this point, you kind of see that he's pausing, hesitant to go further in what he's talking about.
I'll choose this moment to enter the room.
Walter!
Where everybody knows your name. I will say, Walter, just so that way it's not like everyone having to repeat this. You stared out for a bit. It took them a while to get. You heard most of this. You were standing outside and you heard
Sounds good.
him talking about most of this.
So, we have the rest of the evening. We seem to be well stocked. We have quite a bit of ammunition and armaments from that center storage unit. And we have some more openness than we did before. Agreements are still the same, as long as lines are not crossed. And I kind of just like shift over my gaze to PETA. Then things will remain as they are for now. Agreed.
PETA just nods.
Lines leading everywhere.
PETA goes, have all of you healed as much as you need to?
I think I'm in as good a shape as I'm going to get.
Oh, Noah, did you keep any of those? I know you had the letters, but did you keep the tube with the map, or is that still upstairs?
I left most of it down in that little cave they made. Lovely little cave. I might sleep there tonight.
PETA, I did want to look over those maps with you. It seems that this establishment was able to monitor some of your tribe's roots in the area and found somewhat safe passage around them, somewhat.
The reports we got, they didn't venture far from here, and seeing as they themselves are not of your kind, I assume that some of the traps were not triggered. But yes, I will look over this map with you.
Thank you. Figure any help is good help.
Henry kind of looks around and kind of looking awkward, like he didn't finish. You get the idea that he definitely didn't tell you everything, as he cut off while he was talking about being bound and tied up by the Inquisition gentleman that had come hunting for him.
Yeah, it was just awkward, and we didn't ask about his life story. No,
right. So it's one of those things of you get the idea that, like, unless pressed, he's not going to want to necessarily talk about what happened next, and you get the idea that what happened next probably has to do with what you guys witnessed.
Green Jewel cracked.
Yeah, it was
Not necessarily. The Green
I
Jewel
know.
was with Patrick.
I
Yeah,
know. I'm
That's
making
what
that
it is. It's
connection.
giving very strong Patrick vibes with
Yes.
all of this.
But Henry just
No.
looks up and he goes, "Is there anything I can help with?"
I would suggest in general rest. But Noah did find some repair kits that might be useful on the wagon if you can take a look at that. Walter, your help looking at that map will be tremendously welcome with your eyes and Peter's as well, since I am not a cartographer and I don't know the area.
I will get to repairs on the wagon. Henry, I really suggest you talk with our other darkly influenced friend. The one with the miniguns.
Right. Always a pleasure speaking with him. All right.
They get along like a house on fire, them two.
All right. I can't tell for your kind if that sentiment means a good thing or a bad thing. But
He knows his darkness much better than you do, and you need to get to know it. Or at least learn.
I am nothing if not keen to learn.
Yes, sadly, we're not the experts on this, so
Right.
whatever darkness you're fighting is, we're kind of just need to know how dangerous it is, but outside of that, we kind of don't know what it is you're going through.
Right. Understood. I will talk to him quickly. If you need me to look over anything, I'd be happy to do so. And PETA speaks up. We can look at the map, and I would suggest we can spend the day here one more time if you all need to sleep come the dawn. But I would suggest tomorrow evening we set back out. I don't want to stay in any one place for too long.
Agreed.
All right. So he walks out. I assume Walter, do you go with him so that way you can help look at the map?
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Okay.
I don't know what a cartographer is, but I'll
as you guys start to kind of head out, Henry goes, "Where, Liam, can I speak to you for a moment?"
I was gonna pull him aside on his way to Asmodeus, but yeah.
I'll meet you up there, Walter and Peter.
And then I'll say, Atris, what are you up to? What are you going to be doing?
She's got nothing else going on. She'll join Walter and Peter to look at the map.
Okay, then I'll say Noah. Bartleby joins you to help you out with anything you need as far as like repairs and stuff like that. Just if nothing else, to be another set of hands. Like he's not exceptionally well versed in carriage repair, but he knows his way around tools and he can at least follow instructions.
Perfect. I'll take all the assistance.
And I'll say Asmodeus is somewhere, like you guys will have to find wherever the fuck he fucked off to. So all right, so Wea and Liam, you are now alone in the barracks with Henry.
I'm a kind of like take lead of the walk, and I'm gonna lead us three up to like one of the corners of the fort.
Okay.
Kind of oversees like a good view, so we have
Okay.
like a
Oh, so like up
nice-
top?
Yeah, like up top, so it's just us with a nice view.
You see from like diagonally across the way, so like you guys are on the top right tower. The bottom left, you see a silhouette that can only be Asmodeus. Give me a perception plus alertness. Lower difficulty for Wea because he has the night vision eyes. But so I'll say difficulty 5 for Wea, difficulty 7 for Liam from far away.
Oh, if it's 7, then no. I got nothing.
I say you just shoot him and find out.
Yeah, 6 successes again.
You see that it looks like in his free time, Asmodeus has crafted himself a slingshot.
Oh my god, really?
And you just see him up there on top. And you hear it hit something. Ha!
Is
And
he
just
shooting
every so
the
often you
ravens?
hear him do it again as he seems to be shooting something with
Is he shooting the ravens from the fucking Undertaker?
you don't know from this distance.
Okay,
Oh,
whatever.
God.
I have
Oh,
other
no.
things on my mind.
And I'll say everyone else as you're walking to your various forts, you do eventually see him up there and he's all just he's doing something where he's shooting off into the distance and seems to be pleased with himself and keeping himself amused. As every so often you just hear the flap, flap of the slingshot being released.
Oh, yeah, that's what flap means.
I said he's keeping himself amused. How he does that is his personal. If he wants to spend the blood. Anyway, so the three of you make it up on the tower. It is dark. The night is cold, but not unbearable even for humans. Excuse me. Not much wind in the air. A little bit of snowfall, and the night is dark and relatively clear though. Lots of stars in the sky. The occasional cloud going across. And he's there with the two of you.
Okay, look. It's just. Did we have to be outside for this?
I figured looking at the view would bring a little bit more of an ease and tranquility to this conversation.
You guys notice that like there's still a little bit of the sweat on the brow. He's like, honestly, I'm all right with it being a little bit colder. Seems that I've run a little bit of a fever as of late, and could do with the change of environment. So you say you thought of something to look inside my mind?
Well, I don't really know the details of how it all happened, but I have an ability that can calm someone's inner beast. It's typically used to pull one of us out of our frenzy state. But I figured in a time like this, Liam called it out and it seemed like it might work. And we paired that with Liam's ability to summon someone to his location physically. So we figured by tying somehow the spiritual or mental with the physical, we could somewhat try to pull you back.
That's actually damn clever. And you see him like kind of hanging around like, oh, fuck. And you can see that he's kind of disappointed that he doesn't have his journal with him.
I'm slightly offended.
I'm more shocked that you two were able to get along long enough to collaborate and not kill each other.
And that leads me to my next piece of conversation. This group, whether it's just the Spurs or anyone else we bring along our journey, there's thin lines that connect us everywhere, whether that's something in our past, whether that's our relationship with people or the people we bring in. And even Liam knows we have a thin line ourselves. I don't let him die, he watches out for me, but at the end of the day, well, we don't really like each other very much. But it's those thin lines that we must maintain if this is going to work. And sometimes we have to team up. He called it, I followed through. This is what the team does. But we must maintain these thin lines. If we do not, then, travesty happens. Whether that means someone gets left behind or we have to stop someone.
Look, it's not like I'm not trying. I was honest with you before when I said I don't really know what happened. I was tied to that chair. It was a long time since I had even been free from that prison cell. The things they did after, I had devoted myself fully to the belief that I was doing good in the world. And for my loyalty, I don't know what you've seen. So I don't know if you saw what they did to me in those prison cells. But when you broke me out, I saw a brief glimmer of freedom. And in that moment of being bound to that chair by them again, it's bad enough when your God betrays you. Your freedom being gone too. I called out for nothing specific. I've read these things. I've studied these things. I would not just summon something without doing research. I didn't think anything was going to hear me. I honestly doubted whether there was any higher power to hear me at all, but it was just a reflex. I called out to something. It seemed like a dream at the time, but when I touched my abilities in the past, there was a calming sensation, a cool breeze, a moment of clarity that allowed me to pinpoint weaknesses in enemies, move faster, dodge, shoot better, imbue my guns and bullets between the scripture written on them and the slight infusing of, I don't know if it was a higher power, my power. I'm still studying it myself to try and understand what and where these gifts are and came from. All I know is when I came to, my captor was dead. I was free. And for the first time in a long time, I felt strong and in control again. But rather than cool, there was a heat deep inside me, burning, and I won't blaspheme because that seems ironic right now, but the powers that be help me. It felt good to give back some of the pain I had endured. I felt it again when I helped you fight off the lupines that were chasing you to your homestead. But in those moments, I felt in control. I tried to tell myself that I wasn't going to dig too deep into this for me, that's saying something. I love researching everything to the nth level and uncovering every stone and turning every page and finding everything of how the world makes sense and make order of chaos. My grandfather warned me against these beings. That's how I knew to seek out the Inquisition in the first place. They had recruited him in some freelance work way back when he was younger, and that's how I knew about it, from his stories. I was the one person in our family that actually believed that they were more than just stories. The point being is, in those moments I felt in control, but the closest I can think of is what I've read about your kind, of when there's too much bloodshed and it's too much in the heat of battle, I see that focus that's normally razor sharp fade. And I remember fading, but it's like not listening. It wasn't a complete loss of self when we were taking care of those people
These are
hunting
men.
the
These
with the
were just
vase,
men.
the men with the vase, and you. Less than I knew where you were standing in front of me with the bounty hunters, and I blacked out for maybe half a second and couldn't remember it. But tonight, or I guess now, this was several nights ago. That's going to take a little bit to come to terms with. Was the first time I completely do not remember what happened for an extended period of time. And I did not know that that was going to happen, because I do not know what I promised. I just know that I wanted out. I wanted to be free, and I did not want to have to go back. I'm sorry that I hurt any of you. I have been honest with you in my intention of trying to aid you in your pursuits, to thank you for freeing me. The dream even is not clear. It is fire, it is pain, it is suffering, it is hatred, it is every dark thought that I have ever had made manifest. And I just know that you were there, and then I heard both of you calling me back to myself. And feel like I was being torn in half with wanting to come with you and being held back. So I am not hiding more information. I do not know what's inside me. I don't know what it can do. And believe me, as he adjusts his glasses, going, for me, I may have been a, vampire hunter, but I am a researcher first. Not knowing is the absolute worst situation I could find myself in. But I'm not hiding anything else. I'm telling you because apparently you've been inside my head. I have nothing else to hide from you. I don't have any other information I can give.
Cannot hear you at all, Chad.
God damn, for real? Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Really?
Say something, for God's sake. You're so silent.
Said, apology, the truth is enough, Henry. You didn't cripple me. You didn't really hurt anyone that much, so we're not too worried about that. We can take a beating, too. And you not knowing is scary because, well, you're the most knowledgeable out of all of us. But it's fine. Just we need to keep that in check somehow. And I don't know what Liam's got to say, but we're in this together. But thin lines. Liam, you got something to say?
I knew that I kept things from everyone else, and that's simply because it's not my place to share unless it becomes necessary. And in this case, it became necessary. We found a way to suppress for now, but we've dealt with something like this in the past, and unfortunately did not have great success getting rid of it ourselves.
Last time we encountered like a demon creature thing, it took our friend. 2 of our friends. And God knows where they are now.
I have a suspicion that me not being able to know everything is very intentional. The less I know and the more I'm kept in the dark, the less chance I can wiggle out of whatever deal I made in my moment of desperation. I think after I help you with this mission, I need to make my way back home. And not only to check to see if my grandfather is still alive, but see what he knows of this predicament. And if there is a cure.
I'm afraid that if you go back home, you're going to hurt someone who means more to you than us. Because I did that.
If I have to lock myself in a room, I will do it. But I think he has answers that it is high time that he and I have a earnest heart-to-heart. We did not necessarily leave on the best of terms. He did not approve of my joining the crusade. And if there is any reconciliation to have, I think it is imperative that I take that opportunity if it's still available.
Well then, I guess, appreciate the truth. We gotta just be careful.
If need be, I give any one of you, except Asmodeus, permission to do what needs to be done. Fuck him, he does not get the satisfaction. As you hear in the distance, flap, flap.
Oh, God.
If it comes to that, and you cannot subdue me, do what you must, and know that I will hold no ill will. I would have done the same.
Oh, and I didn't do anything to you while you were sleeping, and I just walk away.
No. You need more explanation. So as that concludes, I will say we will start Atris, Walter, and PETA, or can look through whatever last things you want to do of looking through whichever notes or boxes or anything else you want to see in the captain's quarters. Noah will talk about you and Bartleby repairing the carriage, and we will then head out to the last leg of your approach to the Lupine Village. So that's going to be tonight's game. Thank you, everybody, for participating. So good to see you all. Remember that we will not have game next week because I will be busy getting my Irish on with my family. But
Yay.
Be safe, as always.
yes, of course. To everyone who wants to and has fun with it, have a happy St. Patrick's Day next week. And when next we play, we hope to see you all. If you like what you're seeing and hearing, please like and subscribe, ask questions, make requests. We like to laugh at them. And till then, keep your fangs and your wit sharp, and we'll see you next time on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.
Good night.